to hear that.
Comfortable with any language like Telugu or English.
Yeah, good. So, and one more thing, Pooja.
Yeah. Hi Rajesh, hello everyone. Rajesh, I am Pooja. I am around 8 years of testing experience. Currently, I am working as a manual tester, and I also have some experience in APIs and DBs as well. I am comfortable only in English.
Okay. Okay, great. Next, we have Sweta.
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
Both
hi.
languages are fine,
Okay.
and I'm a fresher. Currently in abroad.
Okay.
One of my husband's friend recommended me to do manual, and along with that, we have to finish Tosca so that it would be easy for to find a job.
Okay. Yeah, fine. So next, Sandeep Kumar. Okay. Anyway, so we'll start since we have one person in English. So we will try to cover some in our native language. I am a Telugu guy. Okay. I know Telugu, Hindi, English. So I can speak in these three languages. So we will have English. Okay. So that one person completely don't know Telugu, right? So we will start in English. So yeah. So quickly, let us quickly start the session.
Rajesh, if you are speaking, you are on mute.
Yeah. One second. I'm sharing my screen. One second. Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. Okay. Yeah. So before we start, yeah, okay, I can share my screen now. Hope my screen is visible to everyone, right?
Yes, I can see.
What about others? Can you please confirm?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. Okay, guys. So let us quickly start. So as you already know, as I said, my name is Rajesh. Okay. So Rajesh P. So I have almost 10 plus years of experience. Okay. So I have almost 10 plus years of experience in all couple of testing. So mostly currently I'm working as a testing lead. Okay. So testing lead analyst, we will call it as, to be very precise, test lead. Okay. So I'm working in MNC company. I worked in MNC company previously, and I shifted my company from one of the biggest MNC company. And yeah, so let us start today's actual session. Okay. So today's actual session. So we all here to learn about the Tosca command. Okay. So Tosca. See, we will learn it from very basics. Okay. So we will learn from very basics, like what is a Tosca exactly. Okay. And how the automation tool is. So initially we will go with the testing terminologies. The thing is like, yes, we all are manual testers, but we somehow we need to get all the information that what is a testing. First we will go with baby steps. Okay. So what is meant by testing? We will go with a very basic steps, and then we will keep on going, and we will do some advanced concepts like that. Okay. The basics should be very strong. Okay. So let us understand what is a Tosca commander. Okay, we need to learn Tosca. So what is this Tosca exactly? Okay, so you may have researched like what is Tosca. So we can call it as Tosca or Tosca commander. So Tosca is basically an automation tool. We can call it as Tosca commander. So Tosca commander is one of the tool. Okay, yeah. So it is a one of the tool. The company, like the company which is owned, means the company which has developed this tool is Tricentis. Okay, so we need to understand like what exactly is Tosca. Okay, so Tricentis. There is a company called Tricentis. Okay, one second. Spelling is wrong. Yeah, so Tricentis. So there is a company called Tricentis. Okay, so there is a company called Tricentis, and the Tricentis has built a lot of tools. For example, there is a Microsoft. Okay, there is a Microsoft Excel. There is Microsoft PowerPoint. We have PowerPoint. We have Excel sheet. All these companies we have, like the company is Microsoft, and their product is this PowerPoint and all these. Right. So in the same way, the company name is Tricentis, and the product, one of the major product in the Tricentis company is Tosca Commander. We have a lot of tools, like we have testing tool. Okay, so we have testing tool called Qtest, so which is also developed by the Tricentis. Okay, so this company is built this Tricentis Tosca. Okay, so that's why we will call it as the tool. Somebody will call it as Tosca, and someone will call it as Tosca Commander, and somebody will call Tricentis Tosca Commander. Okay, so you don't confuse whether if somebody is telling you Tricentis Tosca Commander, it is a different tool. No, Tricentis is the company which is built the exact tool of Tosca Commanders. Means they have owned that particular tool, even though they have built a lot of tools like Qtest and we have other tools as well. But this Tosca Commander is very popular in the market, and we are currently learning this Tosca Commander. Okay, so why to learn this Tosca Commander? Okay, so first of all, we need to understand why to learn. Okay, so why to learn this Tosca commander? Okay, so that is the major question we need to understand. Okay, so why we need to learn Tosca commander? Because Tosca commander, we have lot of advantage. Okay, first one is like zero code automation. Okay, see how good it is. Basically, if you want to automate any particular application, for example, I will show you one application. This is the normal application, like how you can automate a particular, you can log in and you can log out and you can do some, like we will have some Flipkart, right? So we will have Flipkart, Amazon, and these all are e-commerce websites. So we have all these websites in place, right? So if you want to place any order, we will go to the search button and we will search for any shoes or mobiles. And if you want to order any particular shoes or mobiles or any particular thing, right? So what you will do, you just go there and you will add to the cart and you will do the, if you have login, you just do the login and you will place the order. You will give your shipping address, billing address, and log out button. Okay, so this is the process what you need to follow. In the same way, for example, if you want to register a particular application, okay, for example, I want to register into one particular application called Demo Web Shop. Then what you need to do, you need to select whether it is male or female, and you need to give the first name, last name, email ID, password, and then you need to register it. Okay, so once you have registered it, you will get the registration and confirmation email to your email ID, and you will log in into that. Okay, so see here, when it comes to why to learn the Tosca commander, is like it is a zero code automation. Okay, so zero code in the sense you won't write any single piece of code. For example, what it is. Okay, so I will tell you first how to write the code. Okay, for example, if I showed you the Selenium. Okay, so Selenium, what is Selenium? Selenium is similar to a similar tool which is used for the automation, but the major problem which is involved in Selenium is like you need to write the code. Okay, so for example, if you are comparing this with Selenium. Okay, so one second, let me, yeah, so Selenium. Okay, so if you are compared to the Selenium, the first major point is like we need to write a proper code. Okay, so we need to write a proper code, means what it is. So you need to first create a class. You need to understand what is exactly a class is. And we also should learn either the Java program or else we need to learn Python. Okay. So we need to learn either the Java as a programming language and Python. Okay. So for example, if you're seeing on the live, right? So I have already written one program in the Selenium, like where you need to import that particular plugins, and you need to create a class. You need to create the class, and you need to give a class name, public static void, in order to access it. And you need to launch a new Chrome browser. Okay, you need to plug in the drivers first. So I'm using Maven, so we can directly plug in. Okay. So next we need to open that particular URL, and we need to maximize that browser, and we need to perform some actions over it, like what drop down we need to do, and we need to write the code. Okay. So by seeing this, if I'm a non-technical person, or I only know the manual testing, I don't know any automation testing. By seeing it very first time, it is very much complicated that where to place the public static, what is public static, and how to create the classes, how to do that particular plugins, how to call these particular browsers, and how to manage this browser. See, initially you can understand it like, okay, we are opening the browser, something like that. But when you are complicating your application with API testing, database testing, and other type of testings in the market, it is very hard you to write the code. And major concern problem is, like, for example, we all will have some clients. Okay. So we all will have something. For example, if a person, for example, you are on the offshore and you need to give some demo to the on-site candidates, then what you will do? First, you will give the demo. For example, if if the person knows Java, but you have built the script in Python, it is very hard you to understand this Python program. And when you're delivering the code, or when you're giving KT for the newcomers, it is very hard for you to tell the subject. Okay, means it is very hard you to explain the subject. While coming to the Tosca, when you are giving handover the code to the client, it is easy to understand. Okay, so it is very easy. So I will show you one small thing. Okay, so this is the Tosca commander. I will tell you from the very basics, how to install it, how to launch it, everything I will tell you. Just concentrate on the just normal subject. Okay, so if you want to learn any particular, for example, if you want to open any particular browser, or if you want to do some cross browsing testing, anything you can do it. Okay, so without writing a single piece of code, I won't write any code. Before that, I will tell you how to automate it. So we will go one by one. To understand it, for a better understanding, I have showed you. That's it. Okay. So now what we have learned. So we are pretty much sure that Tricentis company has its own product called Tosca Commander, and we will call it as Tricentis Tosca Commander. Okay. And they have lot of tools like Qtest. And the second question is like, why to learn Tosca Commander? Because we don't write any single piece of code. So we will go in depth. Okay, later we will go in depth, but on the higher level, I am telling you. Okay, and handovering the code is very much easy when you're even though if they don't know, if they are learning only the tool, then it would be easy. But in Selenium, it is very hard you to understand that particular programming language, and when you are handovering the code, it is very hard. Okay, it is very hard to understand the code to the client. Okay, so it is very hard to any person. Okay, so this is the basic of Tosca commander, and I showed you how it will look like. Okay, so we will have different sections in Tosca. I will tell you from the very basics. I will clearly explain what the Tosca is, how to create the either the single workspace or multi-user workspace, everything with basics. Without having zero knowledge, you will come with zero knowledge, and you will get all the parts, like what is this section and how it will work, how to scan the module, everything I will explain. Okay, so now we will quickly jump into the next one. Okay, so now we have understood that what exactly we are going to cover. But being a tester, we need to understand. Okay, so we need to understand some of the terminology. Yes, we already know all the terminologies in testing, but I want to again, I want to, for example, it's been a while. For example, if you are learning the software testing life cycle, it is a while, right? So you haven't seen that. Now we will go with the basics of software testing, and then we will compare the Selenium and Tosca, and within no time we will build a code and we will try to run it. Okay, so we will go. First topic is what is software testing.
Tosca
Okay.
Demo.
Somebody please go on mute, everyone, please. Aman, welcome, man. So yeah, so please go on mute. If you have any questions, I will let you know. I will give time so that we can cover more concepts. Okay, so what is testing? So okay, we all know software testing. So software testing or testing. So software testing is a method to check whether the actual software product, see, different persons will have different definitions, but yeah, so software testing is a method to check whether the actual software product matches expected requirement. Yeah, so yeah, so matches the expected requirement, and it will ensure that software product is free of defects or bugs, right? So see, what is meant by software test? We all know that it is a method to check whether the actual software product matches the expected requirement. For example, we will get the requirement from the client, and we will check that particular software. Being a tester, we need to simply understand what exactly is the developers are doing, whether they are doing or they are matching the particular product with the requirement or not. And we, being a tester, we will identify defects or bugs. We all know it's very easy and simple, but we'll start with the basics. Then our basics will be strong, and then we can easily understand it. Okay. So second one. So what are the types of testings we have? See, we have major types of testing like functional testing, non-functional testing. And in the functional testing, we will have smoke testing, sanity testing, regression testing. And in non-functional testing, we will have stress testing, security testing, performance testing. But I will categorize into two major testing, which is manual testing, and second one is automation testing. Okay, so just automation test. So I need not to tell what is manual testing, you already know. Okay, so anyway, let us actually write what is manual testing. So manual testing is a software testing process. So it is a software testing process where testing is done with the human efforts. Okay, called manual test. Okay, see, everyone will have their own definitions. Okay, so to be very precise, so what is manual testing? For example, there is a web application. Okay, so this is the requirement. They have built the code. In order to see the code, what we need to do? Right click and inspect the element. Okay, for example, if I want to see the register button of the code, see, the developer will give some anchor tag over it, and they will create some unique identifier, which is a class basically, and they will register it. Okay, so it is an anchor tag. Okay, so we can understand this is the HTML and CSS. We did not to discuss about all this, but in order to see how the code should, if somebody don't know, like you need to inspect the element and you need to click on the register, then you will get the all the HTML and CSS properties. Okay, so it is not. So for example, if I want to see the manually, if I want to validate this register button, then what I will do? I will write all the positive scenarios and negative scenarios and everything, right? So here we will manually, we will open this particular URL. Okay, so this particular URL will be opened manually, and you will check whether the register button is visibility equal to true, means it is visible or not, enable it or not. When you're clicking, the page is crashing or not, whether these fields are coming or not. So that manually with the human efforts or the human intervention, we will do this type of testing. So this is called it as manual testing. Okay. So we all know this manual testing. Okay. So we will see, we will understand it. Okay. So next, what is an automation? Automation testing. Okay. So automation testing is a type of testing, is a software product, software testing process. So it is one of the software testing process where testing is done. Okay. So testing is done with the help of any automation tool, means without human intervention, to be very precise. Okay. So without human intervention, if you are trying to automate it, okay, so that is called it as automation testing. Okay. So major tools in the market is UFT. So UFT is one of the tool. Okay. So next, Selenium. Okay. And Tosca command. Okay. See, I have wrote this based on their age. Okay, means age in the sense how they are comes into the market. Okay, so it's not like we are writing, we are currently learning Tosca and we are putting it. Okay, so UFT is the previous one, and Selenium is also way long ago. We have Tosca Commander, we have way long ago, but nowadays it is very famous that due to the non-coding tool. Here all we need to write the code, but in Tosca there is no code at all. Okay, so that's where its significance comes. Okay, so there is no code which is involved. So asal code ledu, so there is no code at all. So we need to concentrate on this particular tool. Okay, so now we have understood what is meant by a software testing. So we have started with later what type of testing we have, what manual testing is, what automation testing is, and what are the types of tools we have in the automation testing. Okay, now the major one. So we have learned this. Again, I want to explain this software testing life cycle. Okay, so we all know what is meant by software testing life cycle, but we will understand in a good way. Okay, see, for example, if we get any particular requirement from the client. Okay, so for example, one client will come and approach, and they will ask to do some similar application to this, so which can be competitor for Flipkart and Amazon in India. Okay, so what we need to do, being a tester, see, I'm not talking about software development life cycle, I'm talking only for the testing life cycle. First of all, we will have the requirement analysis. Means if somebody is telling you to develop this application, first, not about testing, so they will do collect all the requirement from the client and they will do it. But being a tester, if we want to test this particular application, then what we need to do, we need to first understand the requirement clear. So first step, if somebody wants to, for example, if somebody is coming you in interview, for example, in future interviews, they will ask you, for example, I wear specs, right? So what are the test cases for specs? Okay. For example, if you are drinking water, okay, there is a water bottle, right? So they will ask you to write the test case on water bottle. So first, before writing anything, you need to ask one of the major question to the client or any interviewer, that what is your requirement? Okay, so without requirement, being a tester, how you will write the test cases? You all know, right? So requirement is very much important, that without understanding the requirement, we can't do anything. Okay, so the first step in the software testing lifecycle is requirement analysis. Once the requirement is done, then we need to move it to the test planning. Okay, so being a tester or testing lead, the testing lead will initiate the test planning. Okay, so what is test planning? So test planning is basically a document we will write, or we will have all the scope items, in scope items, out of scope items, baselines, everything. We will have our testing plan. Okay, means for example, in the agile methodology, if you have 2 to 3 weeks of sprint duration, okay, so 2 to 3 weeks of sprint duration, how you are planning your testing to complete, what type of testings you need to do, and everything we will cover it in the test planning. Okay, next one is the require test case development. So being a tester, what we will do, we will open an Excel sheet. Okay, so we will open an Excel sheet and we will try to write all our test cases. right? So we will have some section number. Okay. So being a tester, what we will do? We will have section number and test case description. Okay. So we'll have test case description, expected results, and we will have actual results. Okay. So actual results. So test data. Okay. So we, based on our template, okay, we will have test data. Next, we will have precondition. Okay. So we will have defect tab or logs or anything. So based on your template, you will have all these particular one. Okay. So for example, if you want to write the test cases, you need to write the test cases in such a way that you will have all your test cases in one place. Okay. So in the test case design, what we will do, for example, we have a test scenario. Okay. So we have test scenarios. Okay. So we'll have test scenarios, test case description, and everything in place. Okay. So we will write all these test cases in a such a way that we will have proper format in place. Okay. So next, once the test case design is done, next we will go for the environment setup. Okay. So environment setup. What is environment setup? We will try to set up the environment. Means in what environment the code is deployed and what type of testings we need to do, in which environment we need to do it. That we will test it. Next one is like test execution. Okay. So what is test execution? We need to execute our test cases. Once the code deployed into our QA environment or any lower environments, we will do our test execution. Once the test execution is done, we will close our testing and we will sign off from our testing for the current sprint. Okay. So it will start with the requirement analysis. We'll go with the test planning, test case design, test environment setup, test execution, and test closure. Okay. So now we have understood, even though we all aware of what is meant by a software testing life cycle, we need to understand it. Okay. So what is software testing life cycle? So what are the major fields we will have? First one is like we will have requirement analysis. Okay. So first one is requirement analysis. Next, what one will have? What we will have? Test plan. Okay. So what is the third one? Test case design. Okay. So next one is like say. So next we will have test case design, right? So once the test case design is done, next we will go for the test environment setup. Okay. Sixth one is like test execution. Okay. So finally we will have so test closure. Okay. So these are the software testing life cycle terminology or the steps what we will do it. Okay. So now we have understood what is meant by a software testing life cycle and what is exactly a software is. Now we will understand what is the difference between a Selenium and Tosca. Okay. So we need to understand what is the difference between Selenium and Tosca. Okay. So see here, Selenium. We have, as I said, UFT, just leave about UFT. Nowadays, no one is using. They are migrating either to Selenium or Tosca. So we will keep that aside, but we will try to understand what is Selenium and what is Tosca command. Okay. So Selenium is an open source. See, the major advantage over the Selenium is a open source. Okay. So we need to understand this. Okay. But Tosca is a licensed tool. Okay. Now you can ask me one question that, so for example, sir, there is a Selenium, it is an open source and Tosca is a licensed tool. Why we are learning Tosca apart from Selenium? Okay. See, for example, if I have two persons, person A and person B. Okay. So person A is doing in Selenium and person B is doing in Tosca command. Now, the major advantage of Tosca via Selenium is like zero code. See, we will understand it. Selenium will have heavy coding or will release mainly on the coding part. Okay. Okay. It will release only on coding. But we have the Tosca, the amount of coding involved in Tosca is zero. Means there is no code at all. how it is, you're telling, keep on telling like you're not writing the code, how you will do it, I will let you know. Okay, so I will let you know. Now see, this is the open tool and this is the licensed tool, but we have a dedicated support team in Tosca Commander. We will have a dedicated support in Tosca Commander. Means, for example, you got stuck at one point of time, you don't know how to proceed further. Okay, then there will be a Tricentis team, as I said already, right? So Tricentis is basically a Tosca Commander. See, a Tricentis is a company. We will have dedicated support to the Tosca Commander. Means, if the client is pressurizing you to complete the task, in Selenium, there will be, since it is an open source, there is no support team at all. But in Tosca Commander, we will have a dedicated support team, since we are paying the license. Okay, so that is major advantage of Selenium, of Tosca over the Selenium. Okay, so next the topic would be, what is the difference between Selenium and Tosca Commander? Okay, so what is the difference between a Selenium and Tosca Commander? So we'll first write Selenium, next to Tosca. Okay, so what I said, Selenium is, the major advantage of Selenium is open source. Open source too. Okay, so but the major disadvantage is like, even though it is an open tool and the coding involved in Selenium is high. Okay, Selenium will have huge coding. See, either you need to have Java or you need to learn Python. Okay, so now Tosca Commander. Now comes to the Tosca Commander. So Tosca Commander, Tricentis Tosca Commander or Tosca Commander. Okay, so Tosca Commander is a licensed tool. Okay, so licensed tool, and in the licensed tool also, we don't, Selenium will have huge coding but zero coding. See, zero coding. Okay, and major thing, there will be no support team. Okay, there is no support team. Okay, we will have dedicated support team. Okay, so we will have support team. So what is the advantage? If the client is asking you to complete the task, a new task, either it is a Salesforce application, SAP application, API testing, database testing, you need to have a proper support team to go further. Okay, even though in Selenium, since it is a well-established tool, we can do it, but the client is very much concerned about this coding, the word coding. Okay, see, nowadays when AI comes into revolution, right? So AI revolution, the chat GPT, everything it is doing automatic. Now you are opening the chart and you are keep on writing the code. Who will accept it? Especially for testing. Okay, so who will accept it? So that's why this tool is going popular, and in future this tool is very popular. It hasn't got the actual, they are not using the actual product, they are using some 40 to 50% only. In Tosca Commander, we can automate any kind of application. Either you can do what kind of applications we can do. We can do SAP, we can do Salesforce, we can do any desktop applications, anything. But well, Selenium, when you're doing the desktop application, it is very hard you to understand or handle that particular application, especially for the desktop application. If it is a web, right, it is very easy. You will open it and you will inspect the element, and you will identify the class, or identify, you can uniquely identify it and you can write it. But in Tosca, you need not to do anything. Okay, so there will be a proper support team in the Tricent Tosca, and we don't have any support team. And since we have a coding involved, very hard to understand, the code, right? For example, you are from Java, and now you come to the project for the Python. Then you need to learn the Python and you need to understand. See, the language is the lipi is same, but the language is different. Okay, So it is very hard. But since there is no code at all, since there is no code involved, there is no code. Since there is no code involved, it is easy to understand. Okay. See, they can ask this question in interviews. Okay. So you need to tell these kind of points. Okay. So what is the difference between Selenium and Tosca? They will ask you. What you need to tell? Selenium is open source. You need to tell the advantages as well. Not like you are telling you are keep on focusing on Tosca Commander. You need to tell the flaws as well, pros and cons. Okay. So Selenium is open source. We need to agree it. But Tosca is the licensed tool. That is a major difference. But since you need to have huge coding, here there is no coding involved. And for example, if the client is pressurizing you to complete the task in time, then there will be no support team for Selenium. You can't do it. But you can't tell no to the client, right? So that's the major advantage over over Selenium. Tosca will have dedicated. For example, you will tell the question in within 2 to 3 days, they will answer that particular with a proper understanding. The client support team will come to you and they will schedule the call and they will do everything. Okay. So what support team I'm talking is like support Tosca support. Okay. There will be a Tosca support team. Okay. See, there will be a Tosca support team. So support hub. Okay. See, they will ask all these questions here. Like for example, Tosca execution logs are not coming back to Q test when they are integrating. Okay. So Vision AI, I will tell you, we have Vision AI concept that I will cover. Okay. So everything they will ask you. Okay. You need to log in with your email ID, with the Tricentis email ID, and you need to post it over there. And some person will comes to you and they will clear all your doubts. Okay. So this is the Tricentis support portal. Okay. So support in the sense we need to understand, right? So I will share everything with you. Don't worry. So I will share everything. So that's why I'm writing. So we will see it. Okay. Now, okay. We have understood that what is meant by testing. All these concepts are covered. Now we will see how the Tosca will work actually. Okay. So in order to open Tosca Commander, okay, you need to, once you have installed it, you will have some IDE like this. Okay. So double click on it. Okay. So once you have double click on it, it will open the interface like this, not like this. You will have the previous page as well. Now I want to see on live class, I want to see, I said the difference between Selenium and Tosca. Now I want to see and I want to run and I want to write the code using Selenium and I will try to note down the time. Okay. How much time it is taking you to complete and how much time the code, like how much code it is involved. Okay. So see, for example, in order to Selenium, right? So for example, if you are talking about Selenium, if you want to open, see, I will just do only open URL. Okay. See, for example, what I'm planning to do is like, see, I will open this demo web shop. Okay. See, manually I'm doing it. So before that, let us understand the steps. Okay. So before that, see, first of all, in order to automate any application, see, keep this in your mind. It is very, very important to understand the steps. What type of testing we need to. Okay. So we will write testing steps. Okay. So see, what type of, for example, I will do manual testing steps. Guys, you need to concentrate more on here. If you are understanding this, then you will understand automation very clearly. This is the basic. This is the baby step you need to understand. Okay. So first step, for example, I don't know manual testing. Okay. But I know how to use the Chrome, right? So first what we will do, first of all, see, I haven't, nothing I have, but I want to register a person. Okay. I have the URL in my URL with me. Okay. What I will do, I will click on the Chrome browser. Okay. So the first step, what I am doing, I will open the Chrome browser. Okay. So I have opened the Chrome browser, right? So without knowing anything. So I have opened it. Next, what I need to do, I need to give the URL, right? So this URL, I need to place it. Okay. Okay, done. So see manual steps. See what manual steps you are doing. Same thing you need to automate it. Simple. Okay. So don't get confused. Simple. If somebody is asking you to some client is coming to you, hey, just automate this application, automate this registration process. You don't be panicked. Okay. So what you need to do, you need to handle the situation in a such a way that you know everything in detail. Okay. So first, what you need to do to open any browser, you need to open the browser. To kickstart any automation or manual, you need to open the Chrome browser. Okay. So you need to open the Chrome browser. Next, what you need to do, you need to provide a valid URL. Next, once it is done, what you need to do, I want to register a person. I want to click on the register button. You can verify it is visibility equal to true, enable equal to true. That later part we will discuss. But before that, we need to do click on register button. Okay. So we need to click on register button. Okay. What you need to do later, you need to give this particular valid data. Okay. Provide valid data. Provide valid data. Okay. Means your credentials, means what kind of applications you want, means what test data you want to give, you give it. And click on register button. Okay. Then the registration process is we will have register button or submit button. Okay, we'll click on it. Okay, then what we need to do, see, this is what we need to do it, right? For example, I will take one person as Ramesh. Okay, so Ramesh. Okay, so what I will do, Kumar. Okay, email ID Ramesh Kumar some @gmail.com. Okay, so I'm giving it manually. Next password I will give it as something. Okay, and next I will give. Okay, so I have given all the data in detail. Okay. Okay. So I have given the password. Now I want to click on the register button. I will click on it. Okay. So then there will be a message which is coming. You can capture it later, but you don't know, right, how to do it. So these are the manuals. Later, what you need to do, once the registration is done, you need to click on login button and close the browser. Okay. See. Click on logout button. And close the browser. Okay, so these are the manual steps. If somebody is coming you and asking you to automate any application, then you need to understand these steps very clear. Okay, so without knowing these steps, first we need to open the URL. Without opening URL, we can't open the, sorry, first you need to open the browser. Without opening the browser, you can't open the URL, right? So step by step, initially when you're automating it, either in a paper or you need to write down in a paper or in your brain, you need to understand that what type of, what are the test steps you need to do it. If you know all these things, right? So now what you need to do, you need to automate the Chrome browser. You need to automate the URL. You need to automate the registration process. You need to click on valid. You need to provide the data. You need to submit it. You need to log out and you need to close the browser. This is a step-by-step process. The same step for automation also. See, for automation, what you need to do, you need to give same steps for automation as simple. Just copy paste it. That's it. Means in automation also, you need to open the URL. Okay. So now you have understood it. Now we will try to write the code. Okay. See, in order to, for example, open any particular application, see what you need to do. You need to maximize the browser and you need to give it something like this. Okay. So in Selenium, okay, in Selenium, you need to write this much of code. See, here, first you need to import, not all this code, some code. Okay, first you need to understand what is public static void. Okay, so, and you need to write the code, what is a class and everything you need to write. Okay, see, to understand, for being a manual tester without knowing a proper programming language, even though if you know the programming language, it is very hard to launch a browser here. See, when you're launching a browser, it is very hard you to understand it. And when you're opening the URL, it is even hard. Means we don't know what is driver actually. what is a get method which we are using. So what is maximizing? How to maximize the browser? Means you need to write the Selenium code here. Now concentrate here. Now we will do same thing with Tosca. Okay. So we will try to do same thing with Tosca. Even though, for example, if you're giving this to client, a longer code, very longer code with more than 1,000 lines of code, it is very hard to understand to the client as well, right? So that's where the major advantage comes into picture, which is Tosca Commander. Okay. See, in order to write this code, right? So what I need to do, I need to, for Selenium code, I need to import. Okay. So I need to import that particular, for example, if you want to see, if it is we are seeing time, it's 8:34. And in order to complete this, at least it will take 10 minutes. Like I need to do, okay, files, I need to import. Okay. So first of all, next I need to create public. Okay. So public class, we need to give class name test. Okay. Next, once it is done, we need to launch the browser. Launch the browser. Okay. One second. Yeah. Okay, guys. So we need to launch the browser. Okay. So we need to launch the browser. In order to launch the browsers, what we need to do? We need to do web driver. Okay. A driver equal to new. Okay. And we need to plug in the Chrome browser. Chrome driver we need to import, and we need to write the code in such a way. It will take huge amount of the time to complete all these while we are writing, and the spelling mistakes, we need to see it, whether what we have done, and you need to compile the code. What is compile the code? You need to run the code. That's it. Now we will do same thing in Tosca Commander. Okay. So now within no time. Okay. So what you will do? Simple. You will create a folder called register. I will tell you. Okay. I will tell you how to do it. But since it is a basic class, right? In order to have a basic understanding, we will do it. Okay. So next, once you have created the folder, what you need to do? You need to give the browser. You need to create the test case. First one, test case. Don't remember anything. Just see the how easy it is to automate anything. Okay. You need to give the proper naming. Okay. See, naming convention is very important. Even though we will go for the best practices, then I will explain it. So next, once it is done, we need to give the browser in place. Okay. So we need the test configuration parameter. You need to give the browser. Okay. So we need to give the browser as Chrome. So if you want to open in the Chrome, you need to open in the Chrome. Simple. Not like you need to write the code and you need to give the browser webdriver.driver.com. Nothing. Okay. So you need to give it. Okay. Once you have given your browser, next what you need to do, you need to see first what we have done here. First, we need to open the Chrome browser. Okay. So we are provided the Chrome. Next, what is the next step? Provide the valid URL. Okay. So in order to provide a valid URL, we will have standard module called open URL. Okay. See, I will tell you, don't confuse like what exactly it is. See, I'm not writing any code. Okay. So I'm not writing any code, but if you want to provide any particular URL, you can provide here. See, without writing a single piece of code, within no time, you have automated it. Okay. Let us run it. Okay. So if you are running it, what it will do, it will open the Chrome browser. Okay. So it will open the automatically it has opened the Chrome browser. Within no time, you have automated till URL part. Okay. Within no time and within no code involved. Okay. But we need to understand one point very clearly that, sir, you're telling like there is no code at all. But without writing a code, how the functionality will work? Right. See, there is no code. You can't see any code. It is a module. Means what they are doing, they are putting a code in a box and they are already giving to you. Okay. Means they are writing the code. You won't write it. But the Tosca will understand the code. But you need to understand. See, I said in Selenium, we need to use Java. But in Tosca, what language they are using? On the back end, guys, you need to understand it. Okay. So on the back end, they are using C#. Okay. If somebody is asking you what exact programming language the Tosca will understand on the backend, I'm not talking about, see, the word backend means when you're running any particular test cases, it should be, we need to write a program on the backend, but you are not writing. Who is writing? The Tricentis team is writing. Since that is called Tricentis Tosca, the tool name is Tricentis Tosca. Okay. The tool name is Tricentis Tosca, right? The Tricentis team already wrote the code and they have provided to you. Okay. See how simple it is. Now what you need to do? Now you need to click on this register button, right? So you need to scan the module. So you don't worry about what is scanning the module. Okay. So we need to give a proper name. Okay. So in order to scan it, you will scan that particular application. Right click, scan and application. I will tell you in detail. Okay. Just I'm showing you how easily and how quickly you can automate any particular application. See, once you are done it, make sure like you have opened that particular web application on the backend. Okay. So once it is done, what I need to do, I need to click on this register button. Okay. So what the Tosca is doing here, it is understanding the backend web elements. Okay. So what it is doing, it is understanding the backend web applications. Means what it will do, it will, for example, it will, for example, there is a HTML page. Okay. So it will click on this particular scan button. Then what it will do, basically, it will take all the web element on the backend. Okay. On the backend, it will take all the web elements. See, it is scanning it. Okay. So I have some issue. Okay. You just remove it. Means we need to launch the browser. That's it. It will work for sure. I will do it for. But our understanding is like what you need to understand on the back end. See, we will have everything web element in place, right? See here, register button. Okay. So in the register button, you will have all these things. Now, what the Tosca will do, Tosca will capture all the web element and it will store it in a particular module level. It will store it and it will go and automatically clicks on that particular web application. Okay. So what exactly the Tosca commander is without writing a single piece of code. Let me relaunch the browser, relaunch the Tosca. Okay. So yeah, I will close it and I will launch it. Okay. See, again, I'm see, you all understand, right? So you are pretty much clear that we need to give all these test steps. Like we need to open the browser, we need to provide the valid URL, we need to click on the register button, everything we need to do it. Okay. So within no time, how we need to do it. See what it is doing, Tosca commander, double click on it. Okay. So once you have opened that particular application, you will get one pop-up. Okay. So with the version, what version of Tosca it is using? See, currently Tricent is Tosca 16.0. I am using 16.0. Okay. Tomorrow we will understand what is Tosca, means what is the advantages of Tosca, what are the components we have, how to create a single workspace, how to create a multi-user workspace, how to handle in a project. On the project basis, I will tell you, not like the concepts which are available in YouTube, right? So that I won't tell you. I will go with a proper understanding, like what is Tosca. For example, mainly this class will be on the project level, means on the project. For example, in one single project, we will have 5 to 6 candidates, right? So we need to create multi-user workspace. You need to access, I need to access, right? So in order to do that, what you need to do, you need to create a multi-user workspace. I will install the tool. I will tell you how to install the tool. I will tell you how to create a multi-user or single user and how to automate the application, everything from very pinpoint till if you are completed this course, right, you will understand and you can easily do automation. So why you are telling like that? So I will justify that statement. For example, there is a web page. Okay. Here it is a web page. In your project also, if it in your client, there will be a web page. If you are clicking on this web element, if you are learning the clicking on a particular web element, there also you need to do the same thing. If you have any drop downs, okay. So if you have any drop downs this like this, if you are learning one type of drop down, how to handle the drop down, you will do the same thing in your project as well. Okay. So there is a drag and drop button. how you will handle that